have to get into the menucha mindset of imagine and visualize that every single one of these jobs is completed 100%. And I took 5 minutes, I went back, I started breathing, I started thinking about each one and visualizing the job complete, job complete, job complete. This guy was, and I was able to literally get into that mindset, and all these thoughts and problems went away, and I was able to get into the idea of Shabbos.
Amazing, and that's
And
exactly
it's
what
this
it is.
Geula mindset.
It's Geula mindset, which
recognizing
means
and realizing that everything you can imagine that everything is fulfilled.
What's the final punch list, baby?
the punch list is sometimes when you when you try to get that feeling, it's very hard for us to do it on our own. Meaning, right now I'm anxious. How am I switching that anxiety to wish fulfilled, lack filled, love filling my heart? How do I get into that even? A trick I use is I take Zish next to me. I get another Zish next to me, and I imagine that he has everything. There's a Zish version of me laying next to me in bed.
Just create a new part.
And he has everything. How does he feel? How does he feel?
Oh, this is dangerous.
How does he feel? At that moment, tap into how he feels and stick around with him all day. He's a fun friend. The guy, the version of you that has everything. How would he act? How would he act to this phone call, this annoying phone call? The guy that has everything, he's acting to this phone call very different than you are.
So good.
Because you're coming out from a place of anxiety and he's coming from a place of complete fun.
I was just like,
but keep him there.
no.
Keep him there. And the more we can blend those, and it's a trick, because just taking my anxiety and say, yeah, great. And your wife tells you, you're fine. I'm fine. It's far from fine.
No, you could be fine.
I'm fine.
I don't want to be fine.
That's the most. You don't want to be fine.
That's horrible. That's the worst
fine
place
is
to be.
terrible.
Fine is that in between.
Do you think there's any, does this work everywhere on the continuum? Like a person who's utterly destitute, they literally are not, they have tremendous obligations or whatever the story is, and the next moment they're not sure how they're going to exist. That person can tap into the same level, or is this only you have to be like, 15%?
When you say a person at terrible destitute, nothing happens to anybody. The situation he's in, he put himself. What I mean is,
teach expectation.
We
teach it.
It's
part of the
anxiety that got to
manipulation.
anxiety, that went bad. Negative energy, chasing bad luck, chasing worse luck, chasing the worst luck, right? That downward spiral we see people taking. It's a series of bad decisions that gets people there. It's very few things happen to us in life. We put ourselves, everything, we're all here because we're here, because we came here. Nothing happened to us. Even when somebody shows up here randomly, it's still because we put ourselves. I used to have a chavrusa that would tell me every morning. I'd come in with stories. At that point, I was patient liaison in Sloan Kettering Hospital, so for the pediatric unit for like 10 years. So every morning I'd come in with the craziest thing. He goes, if I would live 10 lifetimes, I wouldn't have the stories you have in one night. I said, most of the time, stories don't happen in bed. Meaning, if you're having experiences, because you put yourself in these bed, things didn't happen to me. I don't know, the 10 stories I'm telling you didn't happen to me. I went to the hospital. In the hospital, these things, I met this guy, right? A whole different, it's not, so we put ourselves in most situations. So when you tell me about this guy that's in a destitute, every homeless guy in the streets in LA has an option to go to a shelter. He's choosing, there are shelters all over the country. He's choosing to be homeless. It's a choice. Nobody is living on the streets because they have to live on the street. There's shelters everywhere. They choose not to go to the shelters. We put ourselves in every situation. So this guy who's Nebuch put himself and made choice after choice after choice after choice after choice after choice that's bad negative choices, because we only have one choice and every single choice is positive or negative. In every single situation we have, am I going positive or am I going negative? Right? The Torah says you have two choices. Es a chayim ves a toiv, es a ra ves a maves. I think I'm maybe. Uvacharta v'chayim. What do you mean choose life? I thought you just told me I have two choices. What are you telling me which one to choose? Because not choosing life, not making the difficult decisions, is by definition not choosing. And then you end up destitute. You have to make the right choices in every situation. It doesn't mean bad things.
The right choice is there for you. Yes, the right choice is there
Well,
for you.
not deciding is deciding.
Is not
It's a no.
deciding is deciding, which is deciding no, and that's where you end up.
I think the
Again,
key is the expectation.
It doesn't mean
It's expectation. What are you expecting from yourself over here? And we're constantly expecting from others. That's the
biggest
idea.
problem.
You're
It's the
always
biggest problem.
expecting from others.
instead of putting on your big boy pants and making the hard decisions and making those moves and taking those right steps, the positive steps of Bacharta B'chaim, we know the Bacharta B'chaim doesn't mean it's the easier way.
It's the good way. It's,
It's
real
the
way.
positive way. It's making that phone call in the middle of your stressful day to somebody else. It's a Bacharta B'chaim. You're going out of your comfort zone. It's holding back when somebody's bothering you and they're not telling them to, you know, to relax. You know what I mean? It's those
Going back to his
choices that we
question,
make.
If that kind of person,
So a guy
if he's
that's
in
in
that
there,
place, if
it's
he,
going to take more work, but yeah, he goes back up that cycle. It's just a cycle. When we make positive decisions, positive things happen. And again, it's always
the only way to
interesting.
get out of
But
that
also you
cycle
can't
is by
possibly-
doing this, is by seeing yourself out of the cycle. Then you can go out. If not, how are you going to go out?
Yeah, not, exactly. The only way to do it is to see yourself on whatever level you dream to be.
There are, but that
Bad
doesn't-
things happen. My sister was killed in a car accident.
Really?
I'm not saying bad things don't happen. There was a Holocaust, there was an October 7th, there was all these things. There are things that happen in our life. There's sudden things, and there's no reasons that we can ever say this happened because of this reason or that reason. So there's always surprises that show up.
When we start to make
But who we are and what our personality is and what we make of every situation. And these people that are destitute, unfortunately, is because they chose to see the negative. Unfortunately, when you see so many people that go through this, and that same guy who is in the destitute, chances are, Rahman al-Islam, you're going to hear in a week, either he had a heart attack or he has cancer. Because that's just the next step of negativity. It goes into the body next. And you see it over and over. Nebuchadnezzar had so many tzaras, this thing, and then. Right? Because of just negativity breeds negativity. Positivity breeds positivity. I'm not saying positive people don't die. I'm not saying they can't have accidents. I'm not saying that.
So that
I'm
just,
saying
that just doesn't suck.
it just doesn't suck as bad. You know, when a guy that every time I miss my bus. Or the guy comes and says, I just came early to the next bus. This guy's pissed, this guy's okay. Nothing changed. They're both going to get there at the same time. But this guy, something terrible happened to him because he missed the bus. And guess what's going to happen? He's going to get on, there's not going to be a seat for him on the bus. And then he's going to get off and he's going to be off the wrong stop. And the other guy also didn't have a seat, also got off the same stop. But okay. So one guy's destitute and one guy's saying how bad his life is a whole day. The exact same thing happened to two people. You can follow two people with the exact same day, and one guy's having the worst day, and one guy's having an amazing day. You can have guys who walk into this room every morning, and it's beautiful, or Shlomo, and some people say they're a bunch of kooks.
Zish gave this to him. Zish gave this to him good.
It's a bunch of kooks. What's the emes lamita? What's the emes lamita? What's the truth of truth? Is this place a bunch of kooks? Or is it a place, a beautiful, most amazing, elevated place? It's up to you. It's an elevated place of cooks. But it's whatever story we tell ourselves. So the destitute guy that's telling himself he's in destitute, and he's right. Like was it Henry Ford said, if you tell yourself you can, and you tell yourself you can't, you're both right.
No one's gonna.
reality.
No one's
both
gonna.
right.
They proved the quantum reality
You're both
is
right.
the same. It works for each person. It's the emes for each person.
Yeah. All right, Chad, we'll continue tomorrow.
Oh wow, we're getting good stuff now. Zish, once we get free Palestine and sewer rats to the
Oh,
comments.
did we get free Palestine?
Yeah.
Because
Let's
they say
go.
all day.
No way!
Right back. Yes, free Palestine. Right back.
outside in the group. We have.